From a tender age, Inez showed signs of great piety, particularly a love of the Eucharist and a tender devotion towards the Immaculate Conception. One of her most striking virtues, besides love, was her modesty in speech and dress. This is also true of Henry, who instinctively fled from trivial conversations. Inez was a staunch Catholic. Already as a young girl, she willingly and eagerly nourished the gift of faith as well as the Christian education that she received from her parents. As a result, she experienced life as a marvelous gift from God, had strong faith in divine providence, and was convinced of the necessity and effectiveness of prayer. She diligently dedicated herself to studies during her secondary education. She received a thorough cultural formation, helped mostly by her father's involvement in the cultural activities at Cospicua. Inez loved life and considered it worthwhile. She had several hobbies. She loved music, particularly Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata, and greatly appreciated works of art, particularly those by her husband and daughter, which she dearly treasured. She was also an avid reader all her life. This she kept up to her very last moments. When Inez chose marriage as her vocation, she embraced it with complete enthusiasm and total dedication, determined to forming a truly Christian family. She was a perfectly balanced and happy person who managed to harmonize the demands of wife and mother with her passion for life. She was known for her smiling face, and she was associated with warmth, generosity, and special affection for children. Inez Casolani's home was always open to those in need, to those who knocked at their door asking for charity. Her gestures of compassion towards the needy reached out and stole the heart of those who knew her from close. Inez was a very active person, and never in her life did she have an idle moment. She was very faithful to her maternal and household duties, yet she always found time to pray and to write, besides keeping up her many pastimes, as well as her apostolic activities in the parish. She often used to invite young girls in their home veranda to recite the rosary together. When her daughter decided to become a religious, together with Henry, she followed her developments closely, and with great love, and always encouraged her to be generous and faithful to God's calling. She had offered her all to God. On several occasions, Inez was touched by suffering and the mystery of pain. Amid unspeakable pain and great moral suffering, she entrusted herself to prayer and providence. An episode worth recalling. In 1982, Inez was severely ill with bronchitis. Doctors stated that her condition was alarming and very serious, yet she was instantaneously healed from persistent high fever after Henry tried her temperature with the thermometer he had just wiped with a piece of cotton wool that had been touched by the hand of Father George Preka, now Saint George Preka, soon after the latter's death. Such striking experiences clearly show how the relationships between Henry and Inez strengthened each other's faith and helped them to grow in Christian virtue. Inez was closely united with God, and her life was a life of prayer. She prayed both during her housework and when she simply stopped to pray. She fasted, performed acts of mortification, and did the way of the cross daily. Every first Friday of the month, she did the night hour adoration. She was fond of devotions such as meditations on the Holy Face of Jesus, novena to the Sacred Heart, liturgy of the hours, and many more. On 12 January 1992, the eve of her last day on earth, she stopped by the hour for 9 times that day to recite a prayer to the infant Jesus of Prague, for the intention of her daughter, Sister Cecilia Mary, who was reluctant to go for a session to Italy because of her mother's heart condition. Inez and Henry sustained the daughter's vocation and mission at all times, especially through prayer and encouragement. Inez Casolani died of a massive heart attack on the 13th July 1992. She died in her daughter's arms at their summer residence at Birza Buja, soon after she had written the following spiritual testament: I take record of God, in thee I have had my earthly joy.